Well, good morning, beloveds. We are gathering for coffee with Casper. We are glad you are here. I'm working on the microphones right now. We'll be with you in a second. Casper is right below me here. Here we go. Oh, great. I don't know where the other mic is. Here we go. We're seeing if we're on Facebook. We're seeing if we're getting up here. Here we go. Here we are. We're live. All right, good. We're on Facebook. We're trusting we're on YouTube. Here comes the good mic in a second. Here we go. Here we go, big team. Here we go. Okay, let's see how we're doing. 2, 3, there we go. We seem to be in business. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you're there. Good morning, good morning. We're on Coffee with Casper. Here comes Casper. Come on up. Come on, come up. You're a big boy. How's the camera going to see you if you got your arms all stuck in the chair? He's not used to this chair. Okay, come on up. There you are. There's the Casper. Good morning. Good morning from North Carolina. Hi, Jeff. How are you this morning? There's that Casper boy. Well, good morning from Arizona. Good morning, good morning. We are in a first time, and we've been out here. Good morning from Boise, you guys. Good to see you this morning. All right. We are gathering for Coffee with Casper. You can see we are indoors here in Southern California. The weather came in this morning. We're not exactly rained out. It's kind of dry. It's drying out outside right now, but it's wet and a little bit cool. So we moved inside. If it were sunny and cool, we'd put on a parka and go out there. But we are good to see you. Good morning, good morning. All right, well, it's currently 8:31. Let's gong ourselves in. Here we go. Here we go. So let's everybody just take a deep breath in. Let it sound ah. Ah. One more time. Relaxing the shoulders and bringing your energy up into your heart center. And now just give yourself permission. We're only going to be here for 20 minutes. And we're looking for thoughts and ideas that might bring more light, more love, more truth, more wisdom, more peace, more poise, more balance, and more understanding into all that is our lives. We're grateful that this is happening in us and as us and through us, and we are grateful that we are here able to share together. I am the Reverend Dr. Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We're here every Tuesday, have been for a little over a year and a half. Ooh, that's a lot of episodes. And we will be back, of course, again next week is the 14th, and then we'll take a couple weeks off for the Christmas holiday. I'll be away with my family. I'll catch you between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll go on from there. But good morning from Hollywood. Good morning from Burbank. Good morning from Honolulu. All right, the couple is here from Boise. Glad to see you all here this morning. So I wanted to, we're all watching the events in the world. We're seeing the rise and fall of old variants and new variants, and we would all love to be clear of this thing, and we recognize, I saw an article this morning in the paper about how it's affecting, I guess, called Generation Z. Well, you know, pandemics don't happen every day, but they do happen and have happened throughout time. For the first time, the mind of humanity, science, is being able to guide us out of this and to be able to stop it from being any worse than it already was. And it certainly was life-changing for all of us. What we know is as we're entering into this holiday season, here we are approaching the season of light, moving toward the darkest day of the year. Of course, this week has happened as 12/12, some numeric possibilities unfolding in the planets. And this is the time for a transformation in humanity, and you and I are part of it. Aloha from Eureka. So I wanted to remind you a story. I'm classically in my mid-60s, and I've been participating, and I see the Reverend Angelica Jane. She was asked lately what style was her wardrobe, and she said hippie chic. And I sort of want to go into that hippie chic thing a little bit today, so that we might understand what's really happening in our time and what has been happening throughout a great deal of my life, and depending on your age, probably a great deal of yours. When I was young, quite young, not quite hit 15 or so, I began to have a great sense of my own consciousness emerging and my own relationship to what might be considered life purpose. What I knew was that we are all connected, that there is a golden thread that runs through all people, and that thread is pretty loose. And once in a while, we who are aware of that connection with each other in light and as emanating from the same source, once in a while, like a shoestring, we would pull it in to get closer, that we might unite and be able to shift things in consciousness. Certainly, Mahatma Gandhi was a great example of this, the capacity of one man to peacefully engage people in transformation. And what happened in our lifetime, in the 60s, there was a phenomenon as the Vietnam War was breaking out and a new generation of young people was coming up. There was an awareness of this unity. They may not have been conscious of it, they may not have known what it was, but it was the thing that created Woodstock, that created the peace movement, that began to move everybody toward an awakening age, an awakening eon, an awakening time in human consciousness. And coupled with understandings of astrology and predictions from various tribes, the Mayans and the like from all around the planet, writers and artists began to put something together. And there was a phenomenon, a musical phenomenon, turned out to be a Hollywood hit, which later became a Broadway hit, which went all around the world. The musical phenomenon was called Hair. And it was really the artists and the young people's attempt at that time. Hello from Oregon. At that time, it was their attempt to put a philosophy, to put an idea around all of this emerging transformation that was happening in the world. And so the song that was written was called The Age of Aquarius. And I'm going to share two things, the lyrics from that song and some great thinking from St. Francis, and see how they apply to us as we are moving in the world, watching these waves of distress rise and then fall and then rise again, and all of the people who are staying on one side or the other, the polarization that we're seeing. And what we know is that the waves will shift. Waves go up and down, and waves have different levels of heights, and the waves will tune out as we, the light workers, begin to share more and more of what we know. So here's how the lyrics went in this song. When the moon, so this is talking about the stars and the heavens, and certainly since everything is interrelated and interconnected, what we know is there is something going on with the stars and the earth and the planet. I love the story of William Shatner's having just gone up into SpaceX and looked back on the earth, and how incredibly moved he was as the character who played Kirk in Star Trek, James Tiberius Kirk. Here's a man whose faith we don't really know what it is. We know it's gone through a lot of changes in his 90 some odd years on the planet. But when he went into the darkness of space and looked back at the earth, all he could see was there is light and there is life. There is light. From the darkness of space, looking back at the earth, there is light and there is life. Right? The life that comes from the light that is emanating in our solar system through the sun onto the earth and so forth. So when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planet and love will steer the stars. I believe we're heading toward that transformation. It's not something determined by the planets, but it works with all things. All things work together for good, ultimately. And there is a new age. We are coming forth in a transformation. Part of what's happening in the human conditioning is the bringing of the surface to all of the things that didn't work and won't work and are not sustainable, bringing them to the surface, including man's inhumanity to man, the concept of wars and violence. These are all coming up to the surface to be reviewed so that the consciousness of all humanity can look at them and decide what they would like to recreate. So then there is the dawning of this new age, this age of Aquarius. And as I say, so many predictions, so many theories. And this is the artist's take on the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And he says, harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding, no more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberation. What if we gave away the idea of violence as a solution? What if we always looked in the infinite possibilities to bring forth a solution, not only for ourselves, but begin to recognize that everything that happens to me and everybody who touches the arena of my experience. Indeed, I am a wave maker, and what kind of waves are emanating from me? And then this song lyric goes on, so let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in. So let the light, just like Shatner's turning back toward the planet, goes, there is light and there is life, right? Let the light shine in. And here as we approaching the winter solstice, the very darkest time of the year, this is the time when we celebrate the birthing of light, that we move through these phases of darkness and come back into the light. We do this through Hanukkah, we do this through Christmas, we do this through the winter solstice, then Christmas, and then of course Kwanzaa comes up, the realizing of the uniqueness of our cultures and the power of sharing and uniting together. These are all concepts that were born as the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? So when you and I are lonely and let the light shine on, you got to open your heart and let it shine on in. And when you feel like you've been mistreated and your friends turn away, just open your heart and let your light shine in. Let the light shine in. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Now that was way back in the late 1960s. That is, when you're talking about eons of time, the dawning is the first 100 years of that new age, of that new time. So we are in the age of Aquarius, but we are still in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And what will anchor sympathy and understanding and peace guiding the planets will be the human consciousness, that's you and me as light workers, making our contribution in the light, as the light, with the light, to bring forth more light into the world. You're watching Coffee with Casper. The only reason we are here is to connect light workers, to empower light workers, to encourage light workers, to let the light shine in, to let the light shine in, right? And to be an avenue through which that light is shining in the world, healing, uplifting, transposing, and inspiring those around us to this greater cause of peace and understanding and harmony and belonging and the idea of human consciousness realizing the interconnectedness of all life and that everyone's path makes a difference. This is what will reveal a world that will eventually work for all. And you and I right now, wherever we are, no matter how old we are in our right place as we are turning toward this light, letting the light shine in, and then choosing to be an avenue through which that light is shared in the world. That light is shared as love and compassion and understanding and harmony and understanding, right? So here we are in this holiday season. For some, the holiday season is inspiring. To some, it's a burden. But it is a movement of the cycle, and it does happen every 12 months, where we move into this cycle of allowing the darkness to come to its fruition, unformed, and then we decide, as coming into the new year, what we will do with the new light, yes? So here's the other prayer I wanted to share. Let me know where you are. Say hello. We're glad you're here. You're watching Coffee with Casper. What we ask you to do is, if you find anything valuable in these 20 minutes together, what we ask you to do is to share the video digitally, electronically, on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on any networks that you belong to, on any groups that you belong to. Certainly if you can go to YouTube and click on and say like and you'd like to follow, that will help connect more and more people. Our mission here is to connect light workers and to empower them to bring their unique selves forward, not only to heal and uplift and transform their own lives, but to be an avenue through which that's happening in the world. For what we know is that human beings can alter their experience by altering their attitudes of mind. This is known, this has been announced, this has been shared, this has been reiterated, this has been written about in every kind of self-help book there is, and you and I are part of that instrumentality that is inviting people to change the way they are expressing themselves in the world as light in the world, and to identify with that light and to use that light to cleanse out all of the challenges in our own lives. And they will always be more, but as we're gaining more light, we're gaining more strength and more capacity to deal with the influxes of the changing world. And it will continue to change because we need to release these patterns that do not serve humanity. That is our job, to help humanity release the old and choose into the new, and choosing into the new the way that they would like to be. That's why Gandhi said so long ago, let us be the change you want to see in the world. So here in this holiday season, St. Francis gave us a prayer that is very valuable, and it reminds us where to put our attention. And so I'm simply reminding you of this prayer, reminding you that you can transpose events and circumstances into the qualities of being that you would like to emanate. And it's simple, and yet it's not easy, because it requires that we wake up and that we pay attention, yes? So here's St. Francis's prayer, and I know you know it, and I know great teachers among so many have written about the prayer and done essays on the prayer, but I think the prayer is pretty simple and pretty direct, and it tells us how to keep transposing energies that are not what we mean into the energies that we do mean. How we can continue to bring light where before there was darkness, yes? Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. We go the 180 degrees the other way. Where there is injury, where you have hurt me, I forgive you, pardon. Where there is doubt, let me be the place of faith. Where there is despair, let me be a place that can bring hope, the beginning of the dawning of light. Where there is darkness, let me bring the light. Where there is sadness, let me bring joy. O Divine Master, the giver of all life, love, and beauty. Not so much where there is, O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love, for it is in the giving that we receive, and in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and in the dying that we are born, letting go of the old and bring birth into the new that we are born. And the more we let go, and the more and then he says, and let that dying that we are born into eternal life, the more we live from that I am consciousness, the place where I know I am one with the one, the more we ground that light, the more we bring it into the world, and then we just simply transpose the energy where there is hate, love, where there's dark, light, where there's despair, hope, where there's sadness, joy. We can do that. You and I can do that. We know how to do that. And we know then how to let that light transform and transfigure us so that we can be a vibration that heals, uplifts, and inspires and brings forth more light. This is Coffee with Casper. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. We'll be back next week on Tuesday. In the meantime, let the light shine in. Let the light shine in. Let the light shine in. I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Have a great and glorious holiday season. We'll see you next Tuesday on Coffee with Casper. And of course, we're available 24/7 on YouTube and on Facebook. Look for Coffee with Casper. Go to newthought.com, click on social media. Let's link the lightworkers around the world and use this opportunity in social media to be the change agents we want to be in the world. Bless you. You are something special, and I'm glad we're together. See you next week on Coffee with Casper.